Penguin and the Fisherman. On a quiet, secluded beach in Brazil, where the ocean met the sand in peaceful harmony, a fisherman named João Pereira de Souza lived a simple life. The days were mostly spent out on the water, casting his nets and catching fish to feed his family. But it was on one particular day that João's life would change forever. While walking along the shore after a morning of fishing, he noticed something unusual. A tiny creature struggling and flailing on the sand. As João approached, he realized with horror that it was a penguin, its body caked in thick black oil, and it seemed to be in dire distress. The little penguin, exhausted and covered in the slick, viscous substance, could hardly move. The oil had seeped into its feathers, leaving them matted and heavy, making it almost impossible for the creature to swim or fly. Without hesitation, João bent down and gently scooped up the weak penguin. He could see that the bird's condition was dire. It was weak, barely able to breathe, let alone move. Without thinking about the time or the effort required, João made a quick decision. He would take the penguin home, where he could try to nurse it back to health. João's small house, tucked away not far from the beach, was modest, but it provided shelter and warmth. He carefully placed the penguin on a soft towel and immediately set to work. He used warm water and soap to carefully wash the oil from the penguin's feathers, taking care not to harm the delicate bird. It was a long, exhausting process, but João was determined. He spent hours gently cleaning the penguin, ensuring every bit of oil was removed. As the penguin's feathers slowly returned to their natural softness and shine, João noticed something remarkable. The bird began to regain some of its strength. Over the following days and weeks, João dedicated himself entirely to the penguin's recovery. He fed the little bird small amounts of fish, slowly building up its strength. The penguin, though weak and disoriented at first, began to show signs of improvement. With each passing day, João's bond with the creature grew stronger. He named the penguin Dindim, a name that seemed fitting for his tiny companion. As Dindim regained his energy, João noticed that he was starting to swim again in the small pond near his house. It was a joyous moment for both João and the penguin. The little bird, once so helpless, was now able to move with the grace and agility of a healthy creature. Weeks turned into months, and Dindim's health continued to improve. The penguin was no longer the fragile, oil-covered creature that had stumbled onto João's beach. He had become strong, vibrant, and healthy once more. But as much as João had grown attached to Dindim, he knew that it was time to let the bird go. Penguins are wild animals after all, and Dindim belonged to the ocean. So, one morning, João walked down to the shore with Dindim in his arms. He stood at the water's edge, looking at the vast expanse of the sea, and gently released Dindim into the water. For a moment, João stood there, watching the penguin disappear into the waves, expecting that would be the last time he would see him. He felt a pang of sadness, but also a sense of fulfillment, knowing he had helped save Dindim's life. João returned to his daily routine, working on the beach and fishing as usual, but he could not forget the small penguin who had come to him in such desperate need. Then, several months later, something extraordinary happened. One morning, as João was preparing his boat for another day of fishing, he saw something in the distance. At first, he thought he was imagining it, but as the figure drew closer, he realized it was Dindim, the same penguin he had rescued months ago. Dindim had returned. The penguin, who had swum thousands of miles across the ocean, recognized João immediately. With joyful cries, Dindim waddled up the beach toward João, who was astonished by the bird's return. The penguin circled around him as if greeting an old friend. João couldn't believe his eyes. Dindim, the same penguin he had helped save, had come back to him. Over the next few days, Dindim stayed with João, just as he had done during the time he was recovering. penguin didn't stray far from the fisherman's side, always close by as if seeking comfort in his familiar presence. Zhuo marveled at the penguin's loyalty, never expecting that the bird would return to him after being set free. But this incredible bond between Zhuo and Dindim didn't end after a few days. As the time for Dindim to return to the wild approached, Zhuo once again bid farewell to the penguin. He knew that Dindim had his own life to live, one that didn't include staying with humans. But the cycle didn't stop there. Every year, like clockwork, Dindim would return to Zhuo's beach, swimming thousands of miles across the vast ocean just to be reunited with the man who had saved his life. Each time, Zhuo greeted the penguin with open arms, and Dindim would spend several days with him before returning once again to the sea. It became a yearly ritual, a bond that transcended species and geography. Zhuo never ceased to be amazed by Dindim's loyalty, and the penguin's incredible journey to return to him year after year was a testament to the deep, unspoken connection they shared. For Zhuo, Dindim was not just a penguin. He was a friend, a reminder of the power of kindness and the incredible capacity for animals to form bonds with humans. And for Dindim, Zhuo was more than just a rescuer. He was a constant, a figure of safety and love that the penguin would return to whenever he could. The story of Zhuo and Dindim spread far beyond the quiet Brazilian beach where it all began. People from around the world were moved by the story of a simple fisherman and a penguin whose bond was so powerful that it defied the natural order of things. It was a beautiful reminder that the world is full of unexpected and extraordinary connections, and that kindness can transcend boundaries, whether they are human or animal. What made this story even more remarkable was the message it carried. Love and gratitude can inspire acts of incredible loyalty, even in the animal kingdom. Dindim's annual return to Zhuo was not just a beautiful gesture. It was an affirmation that the world, despite its vastness and the distances between us, is not so large after all. In the most unlikely of places, extraordinary friendships can form, and the simplest acts of kindness can create bonds that last a lifetime.